Oh, that's it. I've had it with this dump. We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off. Okay, just calm down.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and it's time for another one of my top 5 comic stories lists. And today I've got a member of the Lantern Corps himself, the biggest Hal Jordan fan I know, outside of myself. Jeremy, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Missing that. I cut that out.
I'm cutting it out. All right, Jeremy.
Shelby just came in. What the?
All right, Jeremy. We were gonna maybe do a top 5 Green Lantern stories, but we're doing a top 5 Hal Jordan stories. What's your number 5 Hal Jordan story?
Okay, I'm gonna shake things up a bit. Okay, I'm not gonna pick the normal stuff. I'm gonna pick some things I kind of looked around. I read a lot of Green Lantern, a lot of Hal Jordan specifically. He's my favorite hero. So I'm gonna throw this one out there as a curveball. I'm gonna pick Final Night number 4. Now, does anyone know what that is? You know what that one is about, Wes?
I do not.
Final Night was an event, a big crossover event where the sun, this big sun eater is blighting out and killing the sun for Earth, the whole orbit. And all the heroes are just on damage control. Everyone's running around just fixing disasters. Everyone, just the whole, because the sun's going out, the whole planet's dying. We need the sun, and no one knows what to do. Well, this is in the '90s with Ron Mars. I know people hate Ron Mars, but this is why I'm shaking things up. But Kyle, he doesn't know what to do, but he knows about Hal. He knows Hal has this huge willpower, but Hal's evil right now. He's Parallax. He was taken over. Do you remember about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, big moment when that happened, when Coast City was destroyed. He went ape shit.
Mm-hmm.
But that was
a lot of people stopped reading Green Lantern because of that.
Yeah, I remember it was I came in later, but I remember people were pretty upset. Now, thing is, I loved Hal as Parallax. He was super evil, did a lot of evil stuff. He was he killed a lot of Lanterns. He destroyed the Corps. But in Final Night number 4, and technically the preview for that, he had his own little solo one-off. But in Final Night number 4, I think I posted a screenshot on Twitter last night. I don't know if you noticed. Just kind of, I was doing research. He comes to terms. Kyle talks to him. Hal goes, man, one night he comes back to Earth. He talks to Guy. He talks to John. He talks to Carol, and he just kind of gets his ducks in a row. Remembers what made him the Green Lantern and what was so important about that. And he used his powers as Parallax. By then we didn't know that it was the evil entity of the Yellow Fear, but then he just recited the oath, absorbed the Sun Eater, and reignited the sun, and just blighted out and died. It was amazing. It's one of my favorite moments of Hal Jordan, and it really, really almost you kind of forgive him for what happened. It was a tiny little bit of redemption of him being evil and just destroying the Corps, because it's
like a Darth Vader moment.
Yeah, in a little bit of a way. You just reignited the sun again, destroyed the sun. He absorbed him into himself technically, and then that's what killed him. And it was a big epic moment. Saved the day. Hal Jordan saved the day. This was before Rebirth, and they kind of retconned a little bit, but this is technically Hal Jordan's final death, and it was I just loved it. It was one of my favorite issues. I'm sitting there going, a big Hal fan. What? Outstanding.
So he got some redemption in death and saved the world.
Yeah, so I think that's a bit of I don't think no one else would really recommend Final Night. It wasn't the best crossover, but that moment, outstanding. You kind of have to be a big Hal fan, though, I think, to really love that.
I think I'm going to love it. That's on my list. Jeremy, what's your number 4 Hal Jordan comic story?
My 4th favorite story out of everything. It's in the volume 2, the Silver Age-ish, kind of getting close to the end, but it's number 201. It's a huge monumental issue. A lot of firsts in this issue. This is when Salak and Kilowog and because the Lantern Corps kind of disbanded and fell apart, they come back to Earth and start the Lantern Corps on Earth. This is when Hal's run the show. They have their own little hideout, their own little headquarters there. It was a central hub for the Green Lantern Corps. It was really cool. This is when Oa wasn't quite around.
So the
Corps is gone. They come back to Earth. Hal's kind of like, let's get the show back on the road. They all come back to Earth. And this is when you meet Salak. A lot of lanterns that you kind of just are just normal now. that everyone's kind of like, oh yeah, that's obvious. They kind of started right here at 201.
The Green Lantern's reestablishing the core, but there is no Mogo to go to. They're bringing it down to Earth, and Hal Jordan is starting up his own ragtag group of Green Lanterns to monitor the galaxy.
I always tell people issue number 201 set the tone for what a lot of people that modernly know off the Johns run know of Green Lantern Corps. This is what set the tone. This is what pretty much modernized it a lot. Before this, there's a lot of more fantastical Hal things. This kind of more set it more real, kind of what you think of Green Lantern at this moment.
Well, it sounds like the beginning of the new era of Green Lantern in the DC Comics universe. All right,
one of
Jeremy,
my favorites.
You got me on my toes here. I haven't heard Blackest Night. I haven't heard anything about Sinestro Core War. I haven't heard anything about what was it? Sinestro's Law, which I believe is the first Venditti story. I haven't even heard Green Lantern Rebirth yet. What's your number 3 story?
All right. My number 3 story is in the volume 3. This is technically another one where Kyle's actually the Green Lantern. But this is I'm going to say the end. It's actually the end of number 99, but technically issue number 100 because it's like the last. So we'll say issue number 100. Kyle gets sent back in time. And he sees Hal Jordan in his prime day, fighting Sinestro, all Silver Age-y, all fantastic-y. And Kyle's like, what the holy cow? This is way before he came. He knows him as the villain Parallax, but this is before Hal actually, succumbed to that evil of Coast City dying. And it's actually a callback issue to, I think, I want to say number 9, so like 1962 or 3, number 9 of volume 2 of Green Lantern. So there's a lot of, if you've ever read the old ones, you're reading this one, you're like, oh, really cool moment. You're sitting there going, I remember this. Oh, yeah, he's fighting Sinestro, and they're fighting. And back then, those stories are so innocent, awesome. Like, they're just green and yellow beams hitting each other, and yellow beats the green. It's awesome. I love this issue. And you see the respect Kyle has, and you can just tell. I know everyone hates Ron Mars, and he is. He's kind of a dick. Don't get me wrong. He's a dick. You can tell that Ron really, truly loved Hal Jordan, just as much as probably you and me. And in fact, I'm pretty sure if we hung out with Ron Mars, he'd probably be an all right guy to get a beer with.
I have heard that is the case from a few people I've talked to, that maybe his Twitter or online persona isn't exactly a good representation who the man is in person. But, that does sound pretty interesting, because at that point, Kyle Rayner would have only known Hal Jordan as an enemy, as a very powerful force. And he wouldn't
know Sinestro either. Like, Sinestro's kind of, oh yeah, I kind of know that. Oh, there he is. Like, oh my God, he's pretty evil. He's pretty fearing. So it's a really grounding issue.
Back in time and got to see the core, the essence of Hal Jordan and what he was like in his prime before he was turned to evil, to the dark side by the yellow power of fear.
It's very campy. It's very fun. And if you're a Hal Jordan fan, this one brings you right back. And I just remember when I was reading the old issues and that one came up, I finally it was a great feeling. Great feeling.
All right. So, we're down to your top 2. There's 4 stories that I was assuming that were going to be in your top 5. I haven't heard any of them yet. So most of them probably aren't even going to make this list. What's number 2, Jeremy? What do you got percolating there?
Okay, so like I said, I'm mixing it up. My favorite Hal Jordan moments here. Okay, I can't not pick this moment, because if you know me on Twitter, as -1 digit 9 fingers on Twitter, if anyone sees my profile picture, not a lot of people notice what my profile picture is. It's literally Guy Gardner's butt mooning Batman on the Justice League. I don't know if anyone's seen that. It's funny as hell. I love it. It says bye bye bats. It's my favorite thing. I just love doing it. No one really realizes that it's Guy Gardner's butt. But I love to shit on Guy. He's my favorite guy to hate. I never want to see him ever. I actually don't really like the modern version of Guy, because he's kind of he's more of an everyday guy hero. But old Guy was a douche retard. I loved him. Literally brain damaged. If you didn't know that, he literally got brain damaged. That's why he
one of my least favorite characters in all of comics, regardless of publisher.
He is my original Guy Gardner. My bottom run. Yeah, he's awful. He's a terrible person. He always used his ring for like personal gain. Like, he cracked open a beer. He's like, and I would never stand for Hal. He's like, what are you doing with that? Like, Hal wouldn't even. He didn't even like wearing his ring on the when he would go test on flights and stuff. He didn't want to. He didn't think that. He thought that was an abuse of the ring. So I love this shit on Guy. And then Green Lantern Volume 3, number 25. Yes, 25. Hal did the infamous one punch. Now this is the second time Guy got punched out with one punch. It first happened in it was in a Justice League issue, and Batman just knocked him out. And I just remember Blue Beetle losing his shit, just laughing, going, "Oh my god, he got knocked out with one punch." In this issue, in GLV3 number 25, Hal's back to Earth. He's done running around space, and he's like, "All right, Guy, I'm the Space Sector's Green Lantern. Get the fuck out." Guy's like, "No, I am," because the guy's a cocky retarded. So they have a big fight. Hal's smacking the crap out of him, and suddenly they throw down gauntlets, and Hal just pops him right in the nose, and sure as shit knocks out one punch, and Blue Beetle's losing his shit again. And it's one of my favorite moments, seeing Hal Jordan just one punch Guy. Because like everyone on the Justice League didn't even like Guy, and so Guy threw down, and eventually Guy went off and did his own thing. I think he got Sinestro's ring for a while, and it did some weird stuff, and then he became the Warrior. But don't worry about that. That was dumb. Another reason to hate Guy. He had a really dumb story.
I'll give Robert Venditti this. I didn't think that Guy was redeemable. Yeah, he made him an interesting character, and a character that I like now because I understand a little bit better. But man, he's like that uncle you just love to hate.
I know. Yeah, I always tell people everyone's like, "Well, what would you change about him?" Nothing. I like hating.
Change.
I like hating. I love loving Hal Jordan. I love hating Guy Gardner. It's this. Why change the flaw? I like that about that. And I believe Jessica even. Yeah. Didn't Jessica one punch him too and just bopped him right in the face? That guy in his poor nose.
If that happened, I'm calling bullshit.
I think
Guy's
it did
got
happen.
A big jaw on him. You'd have to have some weight behind you to actually knock him out, even with the power ring.
She had the power of feminism on her side. She just bopped him, right?
But man, don't come in here with that bullshit. What's your number one Hal Jordan Green Lantern story?
It was a tough choice. And again, I instantly want to go to Rebirth because I remember that's kind of where I started. Because I remember even my love for Green Lantern happened because I was watching Justice League, the cartoon. I just didn't get what Green Lanterns were about. It was a little confusing. Like, how is he doing this? And so I wanted to go back and read stuff. And sure, I bought Rebirth because that's where everyone told me to start. And that's how I fell in love with Hal. I was like, wow, this guy is monumental. But I didn't want to go conventional. I want to go out of the rings. I want to go to the different things that really made me go, holy crap. Hal Jordan is the de facto willpower master. So I was reading through stuff, looking over covers, and my number one pick for my favorite Green Lantern story, this single issue with Hal Jordan, is the volume 5 issue, number 20. This is during the kind of New 52 era. Number 20 is where Hal dies. He jumps to his death, and was it the Deadpool or something? I can't remember the death spectrum. He just willingly jumps into his death spectrum, kills himself. In the prior issue, I'm freaking out. This issue, he wills himself back to life using his willpower and becomes the first ever Green Lantern / Death Lantern, and he commands a whole army of Death Lanterns on his side. It was huge. No one's ever been able to will themselves back to life, or re-death, however you want to put it. I was losing my mind when I read this issue. I remember I made the big splash page of him with the Death Lantern and the Green Lantern emblem on it. So I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. I made that my desktop picture. I wanted a poster. I couldn't find a poster. It was a huge moment, and it really showcased how much Hal can just control his will. No one can do it.
It sounds like they stole that from Aragon's journey in Lord of the Rings.
No, shut up.
Plus, I think Hal might have willed himself to resurrection 3 times now, right?
Kinda. In Rebirth, it was kind of, his body was retconned into being like preserved, and then Parallax was and it was kind of weird. Yeah.
There you go. All right, so that was the first time that he willed himself back into existence, returned from the grave. Hal Jordan, the greatest Lantern of all times. So you did go off the beaten path. You picked none of the stories that I would have picked. None of the Explorer that I expected. How you don't get Sinestro Core War in there is beyond.
So these are amazing
Blackest
too.
Night's definitely my favorite.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Don't get me wrong. The Blackest Night, Sinestro Core, all those are. I even was like juggling, talking about the Green Lantern, Green Arrow crossover, because that's like really like later on issue of Volume 2, and I have a lot of those too, and I love that issue. That's an amazing run. I felt like those were real obvious ones. I wanted people listening to this to hear this and go out there and not just read the main lines, read some of the back issues. These are really, really, really good stories.
You're like the hipster dude in the coffee shop talking about reggae.
Yeah, I'm talking about
really
reggae. I'm
like.
talking about Hal Jordan reggae.
It's like, oh yeah, I don't like Bob Marley. I like real reggae. Like, you're so sophisticated, Jeremy. You're so sophisticated for being above Green Lantern Rebirth and Sinestro Core.
Hal means a lot to me. If I wasn't wearing that ring, I'd probably be probably 7 or 6 fingers on Twitter.
There you go.
So
listen, man, I never thought of you as a hipster douchebag until today. And is that what's going on here?
No, I just really love Hal Jordan. He's my favorite hero.
I do appreciate you going a little bit more obscure. So maybe viewers of this that like those stories that we were just talking about can maybe go back and mine some of these gems from Hal Jordan's past and maybe see Guy Gardner get knocked the fuck out, man, from Hal Jordan himself.
And my favorite part is DC's reprinting the first issue. Hopefully they keep going with that. Let's keep it coming. These are great stories.
All right, Jeremy, thank you so much for joining me, talking about your 5 favorite moments, issues, stories from Hal Jordan. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Anytime you want to talk about Hal, let me know.
He literally just sipped his latte, people. Oh.
It's lemonade.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.